Hey there, South Mississippi. Chief Meteorologist Eric Jeansonne here with a quick update on the digital desk. If you were outside this evening, it definitely was a beautiful sunset, and I was out there near the Biloxi Schooner Pier where the sunset really took off. In fact, let's take this video full here. Look at that stunning sunset. You know, anytime you get clouds that are sort of clearing along the western horizon so the sunlight can peek underneath it, you're going to get a golden, vibrant sunset like this. So beautiful sunset this evening. Loved how calm the waters were this evening as well across South Mississippi and in the Mississippi Sound. So that definitely doesn't always look that way here across the coast. Sometimes the wind makes the water a little bit more choppy at times, but tonight it has been very smooth across the region. So let's take a look at notice. Let me pull up my graphic here. You know, just as in true Mississippi fashion, after a beautiful sunset, well, the termites had to come out. And this was at Veterans Avenue and 90 on my way back into the station. Termites all over the place. I'm sure many of you saw the termites this evening. You know, this time of the year it happens. After we get a little rain in late April going through May, we get the termite swarms. And, well, they were out in full force this evening across South Mississippi. So beautiful sunset, and then termites. Hey, you can't have everything nice here in South Mississippi. Hey, it is a nice night. We had that front come through across the region. Our temperatures are much cooler than they were at this time last night. We were still in the 80s. Now we're in the low 70s, currently 71. Our dew points have dropped into the 60s. The lower that dew point, the more comfortable the air is going to feel, the drier the air. Here's a look at the satellite and radar. We have a stalled out frontal boundary along the Gulf Coast, and that is going to be the focal point for some scattered showers and maybe a few thunderstorms as we go throughout the next 24 to 36 hours or so. But for the most part, not expecting much in the way of coverage. Notice as that front just kind of stalls out along the coast, a few hit and miss showers and storms will be possible, especially perhaps possibly tomorrow morning. Dew point trend, notice we are going to see our dew points go up as we go into Friday and Saturday. Or when our dew points go up, that typically means we're going to start to feel more muggy outside. So this little break in the humidity, it's not going to last much longer. Over the weekend, we're going to see more muggy conditions. Looking at futurecasts as we head towards tomorrow morning, again, showing maybe a few scattered showers and a few thunderstorms right along the coast. Temperatures starting out in the 60s in many spots. As we work our way into the afternoon, high temperatures in the upper 80s to low 90s, and overall not too bad. If you're planning on heading offshore, maybe heading out over the water, or maybe heading to Cat Island or Ship Island, Horn Island, Petty Boy, in the morning there is a chance for maybe a few scattered showers and thunderstorms. We just saw that on Futurecast. Looks like winds in general by the afternoon out of the southeast about 10 miles per hour, seas about 1 to 2 feet. Going into the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, temps in the 80s for afternoon highs, so it will be nice with south winds about 10 to 15 miles per hour, seas about 1 to 2 feet. Water temperatures are now in the 80s in many areas, so that kind of reminds you of one thing, tropical season. Of course, we are not yet in hurricane season just yet in the Atlantic, but in the eastern Pacific, it is hurricane season now. It begins on May 15th for the Eastern Pacific, and the National Hurricane Center is already highlighting an area near Mexico for the potential for tropical development. Now, this time of the year, it's very common to get tropical development either on the Eastern Pacific side or on the Caribbean side. What happens this time of the year, we get something sort of like a monsoonal pattern across Central America where we have converging winds. Winds coming in from the east and winds coming in from the west over Central America. That usually leads to a lot of rising motion and low pressure. Sometimes models go crazy with this area and overdo the tropical development, and the GFS model can do that a lot of times, especially this time of the year. But looking at the GFS model, it is in pretty good agreement that, hey, we might see a tropical system form over into the Eastern Pacific. Right now, not a concern for the Gulf or the Caribbean, so just something we're going to keep an eye on. Looking ahead, though, there are some hints that as we head towards the end of this coming week into early next month, we could be looking at a cooler than normal pattern. So maybe kind of things changing a little bit. So we're going to keep an eye on that. 7-day forecast, it looks like this again. As we go into this weekend, looks like we're going to return to the muggy conditions with temperatures back into the 80s and heat index values in the 90s. And we'll watch next week for maybe a little bit more unsettled pattern, maybe some slightly cooler temperatures by the end of next week. Of course, we'll just have to wait and see how that all trends out.